Prabhupada used to point out, if you walk down on the street and you see some shoes lying on the street, then people, try and walk around them. But if you see the shoes, if you're a little child, then your heart melts, you pick up the little shoes and pray to them, and then so, because we factually, whether we're conscious of it or not, we see things in relationship to something. Everything we see has a relationship based upon our memory. We see not things as they are, we see through our memories in the material world. And that memory has to do with how I've interacted with that person in the past. And generally, interaction with persons has to do with whether this person gave me something in the past or didn't give me something in the past, whether they took something away. So if they gave me something in the past for my sense gratification, then I feel spontaneous happiness when I see them. And if they try to take my sense gratification away, then I feel spontaneous distress when I see them. So everything is seen in the material world in relationship to whether or not it was pleasing to my sense gratification or was distressful or impeded my sense gratification. But in Krishna's pastimes, Mother Jasoda, all the cowherd boys, everything is utilized for Krishna's pleasure. Therefore, there is no material conception in their activities, in their lives, in their understanding of things. Their only conception is Krishna and how to please Krishna. So this is called, they're Radhatmika devotees, but they show us the platform of spontaneous love for Krishna. It is not a question, as Prabhupada says, of idle speculation or some material talents that we may have. It has nothing to do with that. It's simply a service attitude of wanting to utilize everything to please Krishna. Then Krishna says, Dadami, buddhi yogam tam. Then I tell the devotee what I want. It's not that you have to write letters. It's so confusing, so bewildering, that the devotee has to write to Krishna a letter. Call him up on telephone, we're confused, Krishna, what you really want. Where is Krishna? Sarvatra pani padam tat sarvatra shishara mukam. Sarvatra shrutima loke sarvatra sarva tishtati. And Krishna is everywhere. Everywhere, his hands and legs, his eyes and faces, and he hears everything. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everything. Sarvendriya gunavasam, sarvendriya vivarditam, asaktam sarvabritchaiva, nirgunam gunabhoktricha. The super soul is the original source of all senses, but he has no material senses. He's unattached, although he's the maintainer of all living entities. He's within everyone's heart, and at the same time he's outside of everything. Bahiranantascha bhutanam acharya charyam evacha sukshmatvat tadvigayam darastam chandrike tatat. He's outside, bahiranantascha bhutanam, he's inside and he's outside, he's within the moving and non-living beings, although he's very subtle, he's sukshmatvat tadvigayam. He's beyond, because he's so subtle, he's beyond the material senses to see or to know. Sukshmatvat tadvigayam darastam chandrike tatat. Although very far away, he's also very near to all. In other words, for the devotee who's in loving devotion to Krishna, who's anxious to know what Krishna wants, then Krishna is very close. He immediately talks to the devotee and tells him exactly what he wants. And for the devotee who's halfway wanting to please Krishna and halfway wants to get something from Krishna, then it's a little difficult to understand what Krishna wants. And for the non-devotee, who has no concern what Krishna wants, Krishna gives him absolutely zero intelligence what he wants. So how close and how far away Krishna is depends upon what our desire is to please Krishna. If we want to please Krishna, then immediately Krishna is right there to tell us. And if we don't want to please Krishna, then he's so far away we can't even imagine where he is. We can go up, as we heard, as one astronaut went up into the sky and looked around and said, he's not there, I can't see God. Or as a better example, when Hiranyaksha was killed by Lord Varaha, then Hiranyakashipu became very angry, and he looked all over the universe to find God so he could kill him. So Lord Varaha, being very intelligent, immediately hid himself in the heart of Hiranyakashipu, because he knew the last place in the universe Hiranyakashipu would look for God was within his heart. Therefore Krishna found a safe hiding place in the heart of Hiranyakashipu. So for the materialist, he never thinks, he never uses intelligence, never looks in his heart to understand God, never asks God to explain himself. Because as soon as one thinks like that, we have many examples in the Krishna consciousness movement, that as soon as someone in the material world was smashed by the material energy, his girlfriend or his boyfriend left, he had no money, his parents kicked him out of the house, and he said, "Oh God, help me." And the next thing, there was some, devotee on the street with a back to God head or a book, approaching him. "Here, I came to help you. Take one of these." And somehow or another, the person at that moment was a little receptive and took the book and read it, and everything was clear. Suddenly everything was clear. Or someone had bought a book before and read it, and then suddenly it made sense. The material world's miserable, and there's only you have to find out how to get out of here from the person who knows. It all starts making sense. Beforehand, when one is trying to enjoy the material world, it made absolutely no sense at all. You held the book upside down or inside out, it all meant about the same thing, nothing. So here, Mother Jasoda, she's so much absorbed in trying to please Krishna. Krishna is constantly with her, 24 hours a day, giving her direction how to serve him. Although it may appear to us that Krishna becomes angry and he's going breaking some pots, trying to get the yogurt, trying to get even with his mother. Even in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, sometimes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he'd go into temper tantrums. And he'd take a stick and knock over all the jars and the pots in Mother Sachimata's house, destroying all the ghee and all the yogurt and all the grains and everything. It'd just be a big mess. And he'd break down and cry, and Sachimata would come by and try and calm him down, and then he'd admit his fault, that he was somehow or another he had lost control, and then the next day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would come by and he'd give Mother Sachimata a little bit of gold. So Mother Sachimata was a little suspicious. Where did Nimai get this gold from? What is his gold connection? In any case, it appears that Krishna, he eternally has these emotional problems. And yet it's never recommended he goes to a psychiatrist. And how long is this problem going on? A long time. What about your mother? What was your relationship with your mother? Well, I don't know if it has anything to do with it. So this is going on eternally, but in the spiritual world, these things are not seen as great impediments to devotional service. These are part of Krishna's eternal pastimes, and Krishna enjoys. As a matter of fact, if Krishna didn't get into this emotional state, the twin Arjuna trees, Nakula and Nakulavara and Manigriva, they'd still be standing there right now. We could go to Vrindavan and still see them. But Krishna has a plan. It's all part of his ever-flowing pastimes. And the devotees appreciate that even Krishna gets angry, it's not the same anger as we show. Krishna is going to go and kick a cow now. He's so angry, so frustrated. No, it's all part of his pastimes too. It's all full of blissful pleasure. It's not that he's really angry with Mother Jasoda, that he's telling Mother Jasoda what to do. He's inspiring Mother Jasoda to take care of the milk first. So we have to appreciate that we can't take our material conceptions and try and apply them to spiritual pastimes. So similarly, in our own daily experience, we have to, first of all, develop the attitude of service. As it says in the Nectar of Devotion, that the only qualification for spiritual advancement, the most important qualification, is sincerity. The sincere desire to please Krishna. So how that's manifested may be in different levels. At first it may be manifested simply, or there are 6 stages of surrender, beginning with anukulasya sankalpe pratikulyasya varjana. So at first, our sincere desire to please Krishna is manifested in our sincere desire to accept everything possible to please what Krishna wants. We find out Krishna wants this, and then we do it. If we don't know something, then we have to learn. Sometimes the devotees are quite untrained. For instance, I was told that when the first devotees went, in 1989, the first devotees from Russia went to the festival in India, some of the devotees noticed that their method of putting tilak was a little unusual. Because Russia, they didn't have very much training. For instance, if they wanted to put on tilak, they just spit into their hand and then take the tilak. It was convenient. It seemed to be practical, but they needed some training. So it wasn't that. So when they heard about that, then they changed, and they started to put on tilak a different way. Similarly, we may be shocked at hearing these things, but probably if a Brahmin, a real Brahmin, entered into one of our temples and watched our daily lives in devotional service, go, oh my God, these are devotees. It's like being in the jungle. Even Prabhupada once mentioned, because Prabhupada used to take prasadam by himself, he said something about he didn't want to take prasadam with the devotees, something about they take prasadam like animals. In any case, the point is that although we may act, we may not know, but if we gain information, then our sincerity is that we start to follow what we learn. We may not know in the past, and that's the easy part. That's the beginning part. And then anukulasya sankalpa pratikulyasya. Then we have to be willing to give up things that we're attached to that we find out they're not very good. I was reading yesterday in the Prabhupada Lilamrita that Prabhupada was being told that about some of the faults of the devotees in the temple. I forget what the specific accusations. Upendra was pointing out some of the deficiencies of the devotees. And Prabhupada said, just get them to chant Hare Krishna. Just make sure they chant Hare Krishna, that's all. Something about, I can't remember what they were doing. So at the beginning, we encourage people, chant Hare Krishna, take prasadam, dance, accept these things. And then later on, we mentioned there are 4 regular principles. First we mentioned is 3, no meat, fish, and eggs. And then we gradually reveal the other regular principles. Then the person thinks, well, now I'm really surrendered, now I'm definitely going back to Godhead. But there's more, even after that. Although many devotees, they stop there, it's like they spend the rest of their lives, overwhelmed by their surrender. But then it's practical yasya vardhanam. Rakshasi titi vishvaso, to believe that Krishna will actually maintain one. So this is subtler. not to be anxious at every moment, keep on opening the pot, make sure there's some prasadam left. I remember when my emotions were when we first had the Sunday feast, and we'd make so much prasadam, and then if too many guests would come, then immediately my heart would start, feeling morose, and thinking that now the quantity of prasadam I'm going to be able to get is diminishing with every person who comes. And I'd be praying, Krishna, please don't send anyone else. So rakshasi titi vishvaso goptrive varnam tata. Krishna will protect and maintain one. So these are understandings and practical, and based upon these understandings, there's practical manifestations of surrender that goes along with these things. And gradually, as one becomes more advanced in Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam, as the more one becomes sincere about developing this mood and therefore the actions that go along with the mood, we can't say, I have the mood, but I don't do anything about it. Just like I can't say, I love my wife, but I can't do anything for her. My wife goes, my dear husband, can you please, provide enough money for me? I can't. I can't move because I'm so overwhelmed with love for you. I'm stunned. Could you at least take out the garbage? No, I can't do that. There's too much love in my heart for you. I can't move. No, if there's actual love, then there has to be some activity that goes along with it. For every consciousness, there's an activity. Similarly, for every advancement in devotional service, every advancement of attitude, of loving attitude, more surrender, then there should be some practical more surrender. And the result is Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Krishna, the message of Krishna becomes clearer and clearer and clearer. One understands everything more clearly because before Krishna was going, beep, beep, please do this, and we're sitting there for half an hour speculating whether I want to do it or not. And then suddenly, Krishna's there talking to you. Can you do this? Just like the examples are Shakshi Gopal, that the Brahmin, he saw Gopal as being Gopal. He wasn't thinking that this is a statue. He was able to talk directly with the deity because his service attitude was such that the deity directly talked to him. Similarly, the deity is in our heart. It's not that he's not there, but how much we're able to hear him, that depends upon us. Prabhupada writes in the Krishna book that the whole world is dancing with Krishna, but those who are trying to imitate Krishna, they're dancing with Krishna's energy, Maya. And those who are dancing, trying to please Krishna, they're dancing Krishna's rasa dance. That the whole world is full of Krishna's singing, but everyone, according to the amount of the Maya that they're in, they're understanding in different ways. But a devotee, he hears Krishna's flute, he hears Krishna's voice, he hears his ankle bells, he hears his words everywhere. So that's called Krishna consciousness. He only hears Krishna, and he hears Krishna in his heart. Of course, he understands the difference between Maya and Krishna too. Just like Haridas Thakur, when he was brought before the magistrate told Haridas Thakur, now you're in trouble, you're a Mohammedan, but somehow or another you're worshipping this Krishna, chanting the name of Krishna. So Haridas Thakur realized that this man's crazy. He's just, influenced by the material energy, therefore he didn't take him seriously. So a devotee, he understands how Krishna talks to his devotee and how he talks through his material energy. But he sees Krishna either directly or indirectly, but all he sees is Krishna. So that's called Krishna consciousness. All he hears is Krishna, and therefore all he sees is Krishna. So, thank you. Are there any questions? Comments? Yes.
One time somebody asked, I think it was before, asked Prabhupada how he knows what Krishna wants, and Prabhupada said Krishna tells him. And then on the other side you hear that when Prabhupada came over on a Jaladutta, that Krishna appeared to him. So does that mean that Krishna's appearing to Prabhupada in different ways?
Why not? Yeah, of course, in so many ways. Anything else? I mean, I can't really start saying how Krishna is appearing to Prabhupada. You'd have to ask Prabhupada. What's that?
Does he also manifest himself as an animal?
Krishna?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, just a regular animal.
Well, the head of an animal.
The head of an animal. What about the tail? No, that type of thing is, suddenly Krishna, that's open to mental speculation. When Krishna, we can understand if Krishna is appearing to us if it's confirmed by Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So if the message is that of the same as Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, then we can accept it. Otherwise, it may be in the realm of speculation. The mouse in the room turned to the left, and therefore Krishna is telling me this. He's like, that may not work out.
As a lion with a human body?
Yeah, right there.
That's what
Yeah. Yeah, we see it every day. Yeah.
What does it mean?
It's not good to be. If you become opposed to Krishna, you get a big stomachache. If you want to avoid major stomach problems, then you have to surrender to Krishna. What's that?
That's no answer. I meant what does the form, this manifestation form exactly mean?
Oh, this is a story. It's a very long story about Prahlad Maharaj and his father Hiranyakashipu. So the story goes, but more or less his father was a demon. Hiranyakashipu in the age of Satya Yuga, where people lived for a long time, and he performed great austerities for a long time. So he got benedictions from Lord Brahma so that he didn't have to die. But Lord Brahma couldn't give him the benediction directly, so he prayed for it in many different ways. He wouldn't be killed by a man or a beast, etc., during night or day. But he was a demon, and his son Prahlad was a devotee, so he always tried to torture Prahlad, try him to convert, try and have him deprogrammed. But Prahlad wouldn't give it, he wouldn't budge. So one day Hiranyakashipu was going to kill him, took out a sword, and he asked Prahlad where the source of all your power is. So Krishna advented himself in the form of half man, half lion, so that he would preserve the benediction of his devotee, Lord Brahma, but at the same time he would be able to kill Hiranyakashipu. So he wasn't a man or a beast, he was a half man, half beast. He didn't kill him during the day or night, he killed him at twilight. He didn't kill him on the land or in the sky, he killed him on his lap. So in this way he preserved all the benedictions, but he killed Hiranyakashipu anyhow. So that's what it means. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande.